So I'm very excited today to be demonstrating for you guys the three main properties of Kangen water. So what does Kangen water mean? The word Kangen is a Japanese word for return to origin. So the Japanese believe that when you drink this water, your body can return to its original state of an alkalinity state and to better fight off diseases. So how did this water come about? We have these areas called blue zones around the world, and you might be familiar with some of these. In Mecca, we have Zamzam and Lourdes, France, and there's other areas in Germany and Mexico, and also Hunza in Pakistan, where the people are living much longer than any other parts in the world. And they also have the special water that people tend to bringing back to their countries. They're going to these areas and collecting this water and taking it back because they believe it's got healing properties or it's special water. So what has happened is the Japanese travel to these blue zones to go and study the water and find out what is so special about this water. What are the properties? And they found two interesting things. Number one, they found that the water's alkalinity level was very high, which is a very high level of alkalinity. And secondly, they found out that the water contained very high levels of active hydrogen. So with this information, they took it back to their laboratories and they started working and developing a machine that could produce the same properties in water. And they did manage to do this about 40 years ago. And the first units that were produced were industrial units. They were very, very big units that were used in the industrial sector in hospitals. So this technology has been out for over 40 years, but it's first been used in hospitals and healthcare facilities because the machines were much larger than what we know them as to be today. So they were able to produce this, but in the 1990s, in the mid-1990s, 1994, they managed to produce the first domestic unit, which we know as the SD501. And this is why the technology that today is still very new. People don't really know about Kangen water because for something to have launched in the mid-90s, the technology is still very new to people. So this is why a lot of people are finding it very interesting, and we're seeing a huge influx in interest. So today we're going to demonstrate for you the three main properties why Kangen water is so different to any other water that's on the market or coming through our municipal supply. And these are the three main properties. We've got antioxidation, we've got alkalinity, and we have microclustering. And we're going to demonstrate to you today all three of these properties. And the thing about Kangen water is it's not one property by itself, it's all three together and how these three properties work together inside our body. So to jump straight in, the oxidation. When our bodies are oxidizing from pollution, sunlight, mobile phone radiation, all these kind of things cause our body, even the liquids we drink, the food we consume, it's all causing our bodies to age. So you can imagine an apple, when you cut an apple in half and you let it exposed to the environment, the apple starts turning brown. This is an oxidation process. Even with a nail in water, it will start rusting, and this is oxidizing the nail. So to measure this, we have this chart, which is called an ORP chart. Now the ORP basically stands for oxidation reduction potential. And this is just the different potential liquids have to cause an antioxidant effect within our body. So we all know that vitamin C, green tea, cod liver oil, these are liquids or supplements that we're taking on a daily basis because we know they're good for us. But why they're good for us? Because they're giving us an antioxidant properties, same as blueberries, all these kind of things we know about today. So with Kangen water, we can test now with this meter here, which is called a pinpoint meter. It gives us a reading in millivolts, and we can test different liquids and we get a reading. So from this side here, we have a positive reading, which anything with a positive reading means there's no potential, because it's not negatively charged, there's no potential for it to detox our body. But anything with a negative sign, yeah, has that potential for detoxing. And that is what these kind of drinks do. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a couple of samples we've got some Sprite here, and we're going to pour that one into the first cup. Sprite, we're going to test that. Secondly, we have Pellegrino, which is a sparkling mineral water here in the UK. It's quite pricey. I think it's probably about £1 a bottle. So again, it's enjoyed by a lot of people. We have Smart Water, which is a still Smart Water. And we have a Highland Spring. Again, this comes from the Highlands up north, and this is again UK based. And this is still water. So you pour a bit of that in there. Then we have regular tap water from our municipal supply. And then we also have the Kangen 9.5. So now we have our different liquids. Now what we're going to do is this pinpoint machine, and this will give us a reading. So when we look at the reading, we'll just compare it to the chart and see where it's coming up at. So for Sprite, it's a positive 330, keeps going up 340 about. So that's the reading. So with the Sprite, you can see that it's back down there over the 300s. So now we're looking at our Pellegrino, which is again the sparkling, 330 again, similar reading, around 330, 340. Now we have our Smart Water, which is slightly lower, coming in about 320. So slightly lower reading than the others. Now we have the Highland Spring, and this is actually coming in at 200, positive 270, 260, so around about 260. So again, lower than those. We have the regular tap water, which is around 280 plus 280. And then we have our Kangen water, which, as you can see, is a negative 500 on that screen there. We can pop it back into the Sprite, and that will jump straight back to a positive 300 reading. So what does this mean, basically, is that the Kangen water we call alive water. This water is alive. The Japanese refer to all these other kind of drinks as dead water. There's no electrical charge in this water. It's all dead. It's all got a positive reading, and it doesn't have that detox effect on our body. So by consuming the Kangen water throughout the day, you're actually helping your body to detox throughout the day more effectively than just taking a vitamin C tablet in the morning, say. So that is the first property of the Kangen water. Talking about the alkalinity now, we come on to the second point, the second property of the Kangen water. And you may all be familiar with this chart, which is a pH chart, which we just have, you may have learnt in science in school. And what we're going to do is we're going to test these liquids for their different pH levels. And normally you would use a litmus paper, if you go to the doctor to check your pH level of your body. But here we just use the pH potential hydrogen in a drop format. So we put a couple of drops in each liquid, and it will give us a reading of its actual pH. So I'm just going to put a couple of drops in each of these, just to gauge what their pH would be. So if we look at the first one over here, which is the Sprite, you can see with the color, it is very much starting off here at about 4.5 pH, which is very acidic. So the Sprite, these soft drinks that the kids are consuming these days are very, very acidic. Then we're looking at the Pellegrino, which is again sparkling. And again, we're coming up at about pH of 5. Again, very, very acidic. Now we're looking at Smart Water. Smart Water looks slightly darker, which is probably coming up to about a 6, pH of 6. But again, it's more on the acidic side of neutral. Now we have the Highland Spring still. Now it's changed color. And all of a sudden you might be thinking, okay, well, now we're getting more to the alkaline section. This probably is a lot better for us to consume because it's more alkaline. So previously on the first one, we've just tested with the ORP meter that this water was giving a reading of plus 200, plus 300. So effectively, the water is still dead water. It may be more alkaline, but also more importantly, we know these bottled waters these days are in the headlines all over the world. And they are actually probably between about 18 to 20 to 24 months old before we get to consume the water from bottled at source. So these then have been sitting in warehouses, on airport runways, all over while they've been transported around. And the sunlight has been penetrating these plastics. Now, these are not food safe, they're not BPA-free plastics, should I say. So they do leach, they can leach microplastics into the water. So this is a big problem these days with these kind of plastic bottles. But we also know about the wastage of these bottles, the usage, people discarding them and ending up all in our oceans. So again, might be a little bit more alkaline, but it's probably not the best choice. So then we have our regular tap water. Our regular tap water, you can see here, is coming up slightly, very slightly, just over neutral. A little bit alkaline. But we've tested these tap waters all around the world, and they're all very similar. Then over here, we have our Kangen water, which is 9, and it goes up to purple 9.5 as well. So with this Kangen water, you can see the big difference compared to all these other drinks. And this is what we're consuming. So if you have to eat a tub of blackberries, blueberries, anything to give you an antioxidant effect, you can just be drinking the Kangen water, which will give you the antioxidants as well as the alkalinity all in one drink. So what would happen if we are consuming these drinks and then we started drinking Kangen water? So this is basically what would be happening. We would help our bodies to start alkalizing after consuming Kangen water. So even the smart water changes back. But if we have a look at the Pellegrino, it doesn't seem to want to change. It tries to change, but it just won't change because these drinks are very, 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 very acidic. And also the Sprite. The Sprite we can continue to pour. It actually takes 33, the ratio is 33 cans to 1 can of 9.5 to neutralize that Sprite. And that goes for any other soft drinks as well. You've got your Coca-Cola, your Diet Cokes, all these kind of soft drinks that are on the market. It is very acidic. And that's also going to say about the sports drinks as well. They're also very, very acidic. So through here, if you're now already in an alkaline state, how much of this would you take just to reverse all that hard work? Just a few sips of these, and it will just go right back to an acidic state. Even on the dark 9.5, it goes all back to acidic state. And that's just because these soft drinks, we're not very aware of how acidic they are. So you might be asking, what is microclustering? Basically, microclustering is just the water that has been passed through the tap. Say your water coming through your tap is clustering in bigger molecules. So the water sitting together in bigger molecules. So if you had to say drink, a big pint glass of tap water, then it would be sitting in your stomach for a long time because the molecules are very big, so they get absorbed a bit slower through the body. But once the water's passed through the Kangen machine, what happens is the water molecules cluster together in a smaller molecular structures, and also they're a lot more aligned. So what they're able to do is be absorbed a lot more effectively in the body. And this guy, Dr. Peter Agre, again, he was a Nobel Prize winner for his work on the channel sizes, which they call acuporins, in your cell membrane. Now, what you do is you have your cell membrane there. You have 37 trillion cells, I think it is, in your body. And when these cells are all blocked up with toxins and that, you start to feel you have a lot of fatigue, you're feeling tired all the time, you're not sleeping well at night, you're having all these low energy days. So what happens is because these cells that are supposed to be firing off energy for your body are all clogged up with toxins. Now, the way the Kangen water works is it is actually able to penetrate these little acuporin channels into your cells and detox and clean out all the toxins that are in your cells, and also flush them out and rehydrate your cellular space. So just to demonstrate this, we've got this tea bag over here, and this is just a green tea bag. And what we usually need to make tea is hot water or boiling water. That's how we usually make tea. So if we pour tap water into this glass with a tea bag, we almost certainly know we're not going to get tea because the water needs to be hot. And this is the big molecules of water which are in cold water. But the minute we pop in the Kangen water, because the molecules are smaller, you can see straight away we get instant green tea. And this is because those clusters are a lot smaller. They're able to go in and penetrate the tea and pull out all the tea. Now you can go on and use one tea bag and make 33 cups of tea with that one tea bag because it's going to pull out absolutely all the flavoring. So we have a few skeptics, obviously, and people say, well, because we put it in, we got it wet, we put it in there, that's why it changed to green tea. So what we do is we just run the test again. So we pop that in there. And we'll put the tap water in there again, and you can see it's not green tea. But when we pop it back in that cup, we put the Kangen water in again, we have green tea instantly again. So this clearly demonstrates to you the power of the microclustering, how it actually can penetrate our cells, give us the cellular hydration, and also toxin elimination. So now we've just discussed the drinking water up till now. We've just discussed the 3 levels of drinking water. The machine puts out 8.5, 9, and 9.5. We also have this very, very, very important water here, which is the 11.5, the very strong alkaline Kangen water. And what we use this for is for cleaning our fruits and vegetables, which again is very, very, very important in today's day and age, because as you know, all of our fruit and vegetables are all sprayed with all sorts of insecticides, pesticides, keep all the bugs, off them. So, when we're buying our cherry tomatoes or our lettuce or our grapes or apples, there's all this residue stuff on you. Now, a lot of people would say, oh, we would just wash that under the tap, or we'd soak it, or we'd use some special spray, or salt water or whatever. But how effective is that for actually cleaning your fruit and vegetables? So, you might be paying again extra for extra products, which you need to then put on these. But all you can do is with the Kangen machine, by the press of a button, it produces the strong 11 point. You can use that to wash all your fruit and veg. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to put a couple of these tomatoes in the cups. What we're going to do is we're going to pop some tap water in the first one. We'll put that there. And we don't use this 9.5 because this is a strong 11.5. So the machine produces the strong 11.5. The machine, you can keep them under your sink, and when you need it, you can just pop it in to your sink and wash all your fruit and veg when you've come back from the store. So that's 11.5. What we're going to do now is we're just going to give them a bit of a wash, just simulate a quick rinse. What I would tend to do is just fill up my basin after I've come back from shopping and put Kangen water in, leave them for 5-10 minutes, and take them out and give them a rub down, clean them off, dry them, and then pack them back into the fridge. And you actually find that the produce lasts about a week, week and a half longer once they've been washed, because all that excess oil or grease or whatever you have, wax on the outside layer, has all been removed. So it says here as well, emulsifies oil. So the 11.5 can be used as a degreaser as well. But why it works so well with the fruit and veg is it actually takes the wax and the oil off a lot more effectively. So what we do is, just to show you how this works, is we have some sesame oil. What we'll do is put some oil into these 2 glasses. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put some tap water. So this will simulate basically washing, how we tend to wash our produce now if you are washing under the tap. We all know what happens. Oil and water don't mix. So you have all the oil floating at the top and you have all the water at the bottom. But when we are washing, when we're washing our fruit with a strong 11.5, this is what's happening inside over there at the moment. Straight away, we see that the oil is emulsified by this liquid, the strong 11.5. And this is why it's so good as a degreaser and also for cleaning up fruits and vegetables, because everything will be coming off that fruit and veg. So if we just pour these two different liquids out now. So this is the tap water. These are the Kangen clean ones. So you can clearly see there's a huge difference just after a couple of minutes in the water, whereas all this stuff that's coming off over here, which is being emulsified, as you've seen over here. And what is that? That is all these kind of things that have been sprayed on our produce. Now, if the workers have to obviously be wearing a lot of PPE to be spraying our strawberries and our beans and all these kind of things, then, you know, it's not good for us to be consuming, especially when we've been pushed to eat more fruit and vegetables, or people that are juicing a lot. You know, you want to make sure that your vegetables are cleaned thoroughly before you start juicing and putting all that concentrated pesticides into your body. So just to recap, this machine makes 5 different kinds of waters. We've covered the 11.5, which is the strong alkaline. We've covered the drinking water, which is the Kangen 8.5 to 9. The machine also has this pH 7, which is a neutral water. Green button, press the green button, and the machine will just produce clean, neutral water. The reason for this is because some people are taking medication, prescription medication, not supplements, not, you know, these other kind of supplements. They're okay to take with the 9.5, but it's only prescribed medication from the doctors. We suggest that people drink it with a pH 7 because that is more close to tap water. So there's no alkalinity or acidic change in the water. It's just neutral. So, and then also for babies babies formula. So when babies are having any mixed formula, we just use the clean water again because babies don't need alkaline water. Then you have the beauty water. We touched on that. You know, you can get these little spray bottles where you can put the beauty water in, and this is actually the same pH as your skin, as your face, and it's around about 5.5. So it's very good. So a lot of people that are using this as a how can I say, toner, maybe ladies are buying a lot of toner. I don't know how much toner costs these days, but you know, you go through the day, you could use this and just keep your skin fully hydrated. The water soothes your skin. You know, if you've got dry elbows or dry parts of your skin, you carry this with you. Or if you're flying a lot, you're traveling a lot, or if you're in a hot country, it's great to just carry around. And that actually hydrates your skin, keeps it nice and moist. Then we have the strong 2.5, which we already covered, which kills all the germs, bacteria. So these are the 5 different waters that the machine makes. So that is the 3 properties of the Energic water. And I thank you for watching.